everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I'm sorry I've been kind of MIA lately. I was recently able to go on a vacation to the beach, which is always magical. I always find a lot of healing when I'm near the ocean, and I was able to really sit down and have some time to myself in the mornings and think about things. Um, Whenever I go on vacation, I am the type of person that likes to take along a lot of activities to do, specifically things for myself that I think that I need to accomplish, like um, drawings or books that I want to finish reading at the beach, or just a billion things. Some things that I want to do for, YouTube and this and that. And while that is all wonderful and good, sometimes I forget to not be productive and to just sit in the space that I'm at the time and be quiet and think and just be where I am and not constantly make endless lists inside my head of things to do that day. Because I think for some reason, if I get all those things done on my list, then I would have had a productive day off, and that's very, very important. And while having a productive day is important, especially if you have a day off and you need to have, some errands to get done and everything, and that's great. You need to do those things. Sometimes if you are able, you should have days where you do nothing. And I've realized that there are times when I really need to have a serious reset where I don't do anything creative or productive and I just kind of be myself and work on my own way of doing things in my life. Whether that's maybe making new routines for myself, whether that's in the morning or at night, maybe focusing on eating healthier, things like that. Just various stuff like regular human things, not always just, creative things. So I've made a list that I've found helps me in my own life when I need a serious reset. Now, everybody's different, and we are all in different sort of living situations or health situations or mental situations. And I want to give space to those things because those things are very, very important. So I've also kind of inserted a couple of alternatives depending on what you can or cannot do to help with you resetting your own self and allowing your creative muscle to rest while you get your own personal human stuff under control. So, without further ado, here is my list. I hope that it inspires you guys and I hope that it helps a lot of you. So, this is my advice for when you're feeling unmotivated and burnt out. Now, everyone's background is different. Like I said before, mine is that I work a full-time job, 40 hours a week. And sometimes people talk about having a 9 to 5. I actually work 9 to 6. So I have like an hour break in between. So sometimes I try to use that hour during the day when I'm at work for rejuvenating myself. But there are times when it just feels like the day is endless. So let's get into it and I will show you guys what I think works best for me, and if it works best for you, that's great. If not, just take it and see if it does. My first advice tip is to take a break, and I feel like I put an exclamation point on this because I feel like I'm always yelling this at myself in my brain. I always forget to take a break, whether I'm working at home on YouTube or other creative projects, or if I'm at work. Sometimes when I'm at work, I forget to take a deep breath and calm myself down. And then if I'm at home and I'm working, I will forget to just stop what I'm doing for a second, get up, walk around, maybe go to the bathroom, go get some water, do all those human things just to get away from the screen or my project and just take a step back, relax for a minute, do what I need to do, and then come back. And sometimes once I do all those things, I feel more clear, and then I can just continue to do whatever I've been working on for the rest of the day and not feel burnt out. The other thing I wanted to say is that it's very important to take time to drink some cold water or make yourself some hot tea or a hot drink, basically, because you want to be hydrated. First of all, water is very important. I always feel a lot calmer when I take a nice, good drink of water, but also you want to feel relaxed. So you don't want to be um, tense and working the whole time, because I really don't think that does anything good for your health or anything like that. And if you're tense and stressed while you're working, it's not going to make your product or whatever you're working on any better. You're just going to be just miserable. The other thing I wanted to say is that it's also important to take time to eat a healthy meal, because I know we've all been there where you're busy, you're working on stuff, and you really don't have time to just make something or even pick up something healthy, because let's be honest, in this day and age, we just have unhealthy things very, very close at hand, and it's better to just kind of go out of your way, maybe to meal plan for the week and maybe make yourself some salads or a healthy soup or something like that, versus going to, I don't know, like your McDonald's down the street or your Dunkin', which is like my Achilles heel all the time. Like mornings are the worst for me, especially when I'm rushing out the door to go to work. So sometimes I will just pre-make not only lunches, but I'll pre-make my breakfasts as well, because otherwise I'm so tempted to just go get a nice coffee and a snack and bacon. Let's be honest here. While those things are fun, once in a while you do not want to make that thing you do every day. The next one that I think is extremely important, and this is something that has helped me tremendously, like every time I spend time in nature, at least once a week, I ultimately feel better. There is just something so nourishing about um, just going to my local park and just being under a bunch of green trees and with the sun shining through. It's just beautiful. Even when it's like rainy outside or it's just miserable, I still feel better when I'm in nature, just because where I live, there's just, we're all kind of like very close, our houses are, and there's always people around, and sometimes I just want to be around the trees and the water and the birds and the sky, and I just need that for myself. If you have a park in your neighborhood or someplace that you can either walk to safely or drive to, um, try to get that in once a week. It's just, trust me, it's just so nourishing to be able to be surrounded by nature. Now, if you are not able to do this, sometimes just opening a window or sitting outside, if you can, is very nice. Just like feeling like natural wind on your face and not the air conditioner is always helpful. You can also listen to nature sounds. I love listening to forest sounds or forest sounds at night or ocean sounds, things like that. You can find them on YouTube. They're for free, but there's still the whole like ads that might be in there, but it's still something. And then another idea would be maybe watch a nature documentary. Sometimes I really love those documentaries that might be on Netflix or just randomly on um, the Discovery Channel or even on like basic cable, they'll have like a nature documentary, or you can just find one on YouTube to watch. Sometimes those are really interesting and really informative, and it kind of gets you to be able to see what other places are like in the world. And it's just really beautiful. This last one is also one that I like to do every morning before I go to work. Um, if the sun is out that day in the morning, I go to the spot in my house that is super sunny and I stand in the sun and I soak up its warmth. I just close my eyes, I relax, I breathe deeply, and I just soak in the warmth of the sun. It's easy, it's simple, and it's free, basically. My next one is reading. Reading is the best, especially when you have a library and you can go pick up a book. I know right now it's very iffy about libraries being open and things like that with COVID, but when everything does open up again, I just want you to know that libraries are the best thing ever. Also, you can still use their drive-thru if you reserve a book online or through the phone. I think you can also call them, but I always do it through the internet. But anyway, also, we all have that book that's laying around our house just waiting to be finished. I have probably about 20. So just pick up that book and, um, or even your magazine that you've been putting off reading or the articles or whatever, and just go ahead and finish those. Like, just read them. Give yourself time to finish a book and just soak it in. It's always fun. And like I said about the articles, I have been known to have articles saved on my computer and bookmarked and whatnot on different um, pages in the internet, and I just mean to read them, or I save them in my Gmail, and I just never get around to it. So it's always good to either just go through those, delete them if you're not going to read them, and then if you are going to read them, please go ahead and read them because you could find something that's super interesting. Or take that time to look up a topic you want to learn more about. There's lots of things in the world that we could all learn more about, especially if you're going through life and you're thinking to yourself these random thoughts of, man, I wish I learned more about, I don't know, history, or man, I wish I learned more about, you know, South American mythology, like things like that. You can look these topics up and learn more about them. I personally use YouTube a lot. It's like free college. Now, granted, there are a lot of odd things on YouTube that aren't always true, but there are people that I follow on YouTube that I trust, and I know that they're, legit, so I listen to them. But again, I take the time to, do something fun for myself, learn something new. Learning something new is always wonderful. Even take a class if you want. If it's free, if you can do it. If not, that's okay too. You can always look it up on the internet for free if you can. Now, my alternatives to this are investing in an Audible account if you can. And no, unfortunately, they are not paying me to say this, but I do love Audible. Like, I have had one for a while, and you can also pause your account, if you need to finish a book or there aren't any books that you're interested in listening to right then and there. But that's also a great way to just, like, I don't know, take a breather, take a step back, listen to a good book if you're driving to work in the morning or driving home, or maybe you're taking a walk around the park, like we talked about in the last one, and you're listening to your audiobook. It's a great way to just be able to relax your mind and just listen to things. And the funny thing about audiobooks is that I read somewhere that back in like medieval times, I guess you could say, or the dark ages of Europe, it was a thing to be read to if you were a royal or if you were in like, the aristocracy, I guess. But basically, if you were a very rich and wealthy person back in those times, you could afford someone to read to you. And here we are, and I'm definitely not rich or wealthy. I literally have a 2001 car, and it has cassette player and tapes in it. And occasionally I do listen to the cassette tapes. Don't judge me. But I also get to listen to an audiobook, and it sometimes knowing that makes me feel very, very rich in a weird way. Another alternative is to get the Overdrive app, and it is free and connected to your library. So if you have a library card, you can download that app and you can make yourself an account. And on there, you can, check out ebooks and audiobooks, and I think magazines too. I've never really done the magazine one, but I have done the audiobooks and the ebooks, and it's great because you can easily access these things, whether it's a COVID world or not, and you can basically read them all. I mean, you can have them checked out for like, you know, basically as long as you would a physical book at the library. And the great thing about it is that it will return it for you. There are no late fees or anything like that, unlike when you have a physical book that you have to return to the library and you just keep putting it off, and then the next thing you know, you have $4 of late fees that are just racking up. So, yeah, you should definitely get the Overdrive app. It's free and you don't need to worry about late fees like some of us do. But those are just alternatives that you can do. I really like the Overdrive app. I love the audiobooks on Audible too. Oh, I can't speak today. But Overdrive, I think, is a really great alternative just because it is free and it's connected to the library and it's just very, very convenient. I think I'm going to end our video here, and I will also do a part 2 to this series, and I hope that the next bunch of advice that I have for you guys also hits the mark, because I wanted to make sure that I give the advice that has helped me, but also give you alternatives too, just in case, if you're in a different type of situation than I am and you might need a different type of advice. That happens. But for now, I hope you guys try and implement some of this in your own daily life, and I hope it goes well for you. Until next time, thank you for watching. Bye!